We call this meeting to order. Let the record show 3 commissioners are present. Commissioner Ramon is absent today. Before we start, our condolences, our prayer goes out to the people that got killed and the families in Florida. Our prayers and condolences go with them. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next we have the approval of the minutes.
Move.
There's a motion.
Second.
Second. Okay, any corrections? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nobody, 4-0. All right, next we have citizens' comments. The first one is Mr. Ramiro Guzman, speaks on elections. Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Judge, Commissioners, today I wanted to come and speak to this group just as a citizen. I'm not representing any group that I'm involved with, but just as a citizen who happens to be a little bit of an elections geek, and I've just been very involved in the process the last few years, and I've gotten a really pretty unique perspective on the whole process, and so I just wanted to address the court on what I think there's maybe some confusion around this whole process from when it came up last time, and now that it's before you again as an Elections Commission on the item, just wanted to address those items. From what I've been able to read in the election code and from conversations I've had, the responsibility for this position falls squarely on this court. The court creates the position, they set when the position starts, they have to staff it, and they have to house it. Those are things that fall directly on this court. The commission is only selects who that person is, and to provide us a level of isolation between the position is supposed to be an independent administrator and the court or political side of the process. Also, the position can be eliminated by the court if it doesn't work out at a later date. So it's not a permanent thing, it's not a permanent switch on how that happens. This is an option that has been taken advantage of by 99 other counties in the state of Texas. This is an option by large counties, small counties, from Dallas all the way to Archer, Texas, with 10,000 registered voters, and a whole lot of folks about our size, including Hondo, Bernie, Eagle Pass, and San Angelo, or some that are using this process. There's no doubt that this is an investment by the county. This is a process that, well, it's not free. It's something that will be an investment, but I believe that it's an investment that would better the whole community. And so this position, there was talk last time about, how that was taxpayers' money and it might be wasted. But the existing expenditures that are already being spent on elections would be moved to this office. It would have one place where we have centralized duties for both voter registration and elections. The buck would stop in one place. We'd have one single place for all citizens to go and talk about anything elections related. The position has restrictions on political activities, and so it's structured to be isolated from the political process, to be an administrative position that only administers elections. This would also be a service that would be available. It wouldn't be required, but it would be available to the school, the hospital board, Comstock, the primaries for the parties. For each one of those that decided to contract with this office would retain 10% as a commission, just like we do now when we contract with the county. And so this last Democratic election cost $19,600, $1,960 stays with that. So it's not going to pay for it, but it would defer the cost. It would be a service, just like when B collects taxes for the school, then the commission would be able to receive some of those funds. The only urgency about this position right now is that you guys consider this in the budget process. There's nothing, we're not talking about this November. You can set the date to start as far as 12 months in advance. It could be December, next January. And you can, the person that's designated could even be hired 90 days before they were to start to have an orderly transition. So those are all options that this court has, and that'll be a decision that this court will have to make. So I would just wanted to share a little bit of the research that I've done. I went through and looked at different counties, how they budget for those, their budget line items that they have available to them, and I'm available for any questions that y'all might have. Because of the way it's on the commission, y'all were talking about your commission specifically on the agenda item. I'm not sure if you'll be able to take action today, but just, I would just hope that folks will be able to consider it in the budget process and consider this investment in this community.
I know we normally don't ask questions.
Why don't we wait till, there's an item on that I put there, so we can ask questions to him. Is that
Okay, you gonna be around?
I'll be around.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. All right, next we have Ms. Jane Ramon on Election Administrator Commission. Go ahead, Ms. Jane.
The only thing I wanted to say about that item is that I'm still not sure what's being proposed. Again, if I can reserve my time for when you do
Sure.
get to that item.
Okay. Okay, next we have Sandra Fuentes.
I also would like to restart with how the conversation goes, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, okay.
Thank you.
All right, next we have items, anybody else? I'm sorry, we brought the agendas, extra agendas late, so if anybody needs agendas, they're up here now. All right, next we have discuss and possible action on dedicating a park to honor Judge Felix Barrera, and that is located north of Casa de la Cultura, next to Rotary Park, across from the Brown Plaza. To whom? First. Go ahead.
A very good morning to you, Your Honor, and to the commissioners and everybody else who's present here this morning. My name is Julio C. Flores. I humbly and honorably stand here before you today as a citizen of this great nation of ours and as a citizen of this great county of Alverde, a citizen of this beautiful city that lies southeast of the Pecos River and just east of the Rio Grande. I come before you with a request for endorsement to one of our own, former Justice of the Peace, Felix R. Barrera, by supporting an endeavor to honor El Juez, the judge, as we knew him when he was alive. We want to name a piece of land located north of Brown Plaza and La Casa de la Cultura, east of Cantu Street and southeast of the San Felipe Creek, in his honor. This is not about politics or rivalries. This is about doing the right thing. In quoting Abraham Lincoln, when he was speaking in a ceremony to dedicate part of the Gettysburg battlefield site to those who lost their lives there, Mr. Lincoln said, "It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this." So I ask you to go down in history, in our history books, as having supported this endeavor. Put your name to the list that supported naming this land in honor of Judge Barrera, El Juez, the judge. Judge Barrera was a dedicated and law-abiding citizen of Del Rio. He served in World War II. He served as a deputy of Alverde County. Later, he served as Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, for 26 years, until his retirement in 2003. Felix R. Barrera was born here in Del Rio, May the 18th, 1919, and died February the 5th, 2013. Born to Manuel and Maria Barrera, married to Natividad R. Barrera for 72 years. He has sons, Felix Barrera Jr., who served as a policeman in our city for many years, Roy, and present JP Precinct 1, Jim Bob Barrera. Daughters, Ernestina and Elizabeth Barrera Treviño. 12 grandchildren and 20 great-grandchildren in Steele County. On one occasion, I was talking with a judge and I asked him, "Oiga, pues, de su trabajo como juez, ¿qué es lo más difícil? Of your work as a JP, what do you find to be the most difficult part of your job?" And thinking of the many deaths and accidents and all this at the JPCs, I was astonished to hear him say, lo más difícil para mí es ser imparcial. The most difficult part of my job, I find, is to be impartial. This being such a small community, almost everyone who comes into my court is either a rival, a friend, a relative. You want to help or get even, but you know that you have to uphold the law. This is an example of how he believed. You must be impartial, he said, and just with your advice and decisions as judge. On another occasion, I was talking to him, and I said to him, Judge Roy Bean was the law west of the Pecos, but surely you are the law east of the Pecos. He looked at me straight in the eye and said, we need to talk. Necesitamos hablar. And we did. Remember, it is altogether fitting and proper that we dedicate this land in honor of a man who gave so much of his time and life serving his county and his community. We want to name this area Justice of the Peace Felix Or Barrera Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Mr. Flores, does the county own all the property there?
I think it belongs to the city, but I'm looking for a letter of endorsement,
Okay.
and before going into the final details.
Okay.
So I would.
Yeah, that's what I figured, because I thought I knew the land would belong to the city, so. At one time, the land where the Casa Cultura was owned by the county, and the city owned the building, I know that, so, okay.
There's a gray area there that I don't know, but I'm
Okay.
still looking for, for the support and
Sure.
endorsement.
Sure. Any comment from the commission?
Well, I think it'd be a great thing to do.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great thing to do, before we wait till Commissioner Ramon gets here, it's in
Okay.
his precinct.
Yeah, it's in his precinct, we prefer to Lamar to make.
What piece are you talking about? It's that little park, I think, that's.
Well, because I just Googling it. Do you mind?
Right off the creek, the one that,
It's right in front of, it's right in front of the Casa de la Cultura.
Right here's Casa de la Cultura,
Okay, this area right there, and then there's Rotary Park,
over
and
here.
Catu Street, yeah, and the San Felipe Creek, that area there.
Okay.
Okay,
You know,
more than
All right.
parking lot. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
Flores.
what it is, right?
Mhm.
It's a parking lot.
thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Okay, item number 8, it was actually my typo, so it should have said, moving payroll back to treasurer's office, right? It was my error on that one, so I'm
Did we
gonna
skip
table.
one? Did we skip it?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Okay, item 7, I'm sorry. Discuss plus action on a pass a resolution in support of the U.S. Department of Agriculture Integrated Pest Management Process to control giant river cane. I think Tricia Cortez was supposed to be here. Mr. Padilla, would you take over, please?
I sure will. You have in your packet the information. May I speak in here, sir?
Sure.
You have a media release bulletin as part of your packet.
That way they can hear you.
Thank you, sir. And been in contact with some persons from Laredo. I think the city of Laredo and possibly the county of Laredo has already passed this resolution, and they've been asking for other cities along the Rio Grande. This is in regards to the aerial spraying of pesticides to eradicate the carrizo cane along the Rio Grande. And there are some questions about it scientifically, you can read on that, of the possibilities of carcinogens and other things that could occur with aerial spraying. And so there's some people that are very much against this. And they're asking for a resolution from the county and a resolution from the city here in Del Rio. There's going to be some legislation to be introduced in the state to do aerial spraying from Del Rio to just south of Laredo, I think, to Rio Grande City. That's the legislation that wants to be passed. And they're asking for the county of Valverde to oppose that. pass a resolution opposing the aerial spraying.
And basically, we're not opposed to
We're not opposed to
eradicating the
eradicating.
cane, it's
No.
just the way they're going to do it.
Exactly, sir.
Well, the thing is, all that land along the Rio Grande, most of it is private land. I mean, we'd have to get an okay from the property owners before anything.
You're exactly right. But right now, the way they're doing it with the Arunda, Dorax, the WASP procedure, biological, and other biological procedures, plus also there's a new kind of tractor that has been introduced to crop the cane at about 3 feet. And this is to help the Border Patrol or line the site so they can see what's coming across. They think that that's preferable than there's just spray generally all over the place. That's more dangerous, and that could be possible more problems to come up. All they're asking is a resolution to oppose the aerial spray.
Are they asking us to oppose it or support it? Because the agenda item says support.
No, the item is in support of the resolution opposing the aerial spraying.
Do we have the resolution?
Yeah, the resolution
It says opposing a new proposal from the state and federal authorities calling for aerial spraying.
That's what the resolution reads. It reads exactly, opposing the new proposal from state and federal authorities calling for
Make a
aerial spraying.
motion to approve.
Motion, second. Any other question, discussion?
To approve?
Approve the resolution.
To approve the resolution to oppose.
To oppose. It's kind of
To
confusing.
approve, to oppose.
Okay. All right, there's a motion, a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0.
And authorize the judge to sign?
No, we all signed.
We all sign? Okay.
Okay, next, I'm going to table that one because there was a typo error. Should have said treasurer's office. Okay, next, we're gonna, item 9, acceptance of the 2015 independent auditor's report. I need a motion for that.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
There's been one change
Okay.
from the presentation that was made.
What page?
This is the one that's been going on.
What page was that, Frank?
I'm gonna get it. Page 29. In the presentation that was made earlier to the court on number 7, we had previously just had sick leave there, and it's vacation and sick leave. So that's the only change that, from this report, than what was made
Right.
previously.
Okay. Okay, there's a motion, second. Any other discussion?
We've gotten into conversation, just for clarification, about asking about, how to budget, like these people that are fixing to retire, and you'd said that it's really hard to come up with a number.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd actually had a conversation before that that's what these actuaries that we hire try to come up with.
That's what they do.
Okay.
I don't really, this wouldn't be, that
Mhm.
specific one wouldn't be in there to include sick leave if it were solely up to me, but AICPA sees differently. And the reason I say sick leave shouldn't be considered as a liability is because when you leave, you don't get paid for your sick leave. You don't take that with you.
Yeah. So how do you, why would we do that? I mean,
Well, I haven't been able to convince the AICPA.
I understand it, but at the end of the day, we don't have to write a check for it, then.
No. Their argument is, it's a current liability for the present employees that are there. And so the number that is used for that calculation is current employees accumulated sick leave. And therefore, it's a liability
Now.
while they are working. But it's not, there's hundreds of hours that are left
When they leave.
when they leave.
Is there any way, maybe next time, we can break it out, just put sick leave amount and vacation amount, and then we can look at the actual cost that it's gonna cost the county if somebody leaves? Or are they gonna require us to do it all?
Well, the reason you can't do that is because you don't know how many hours somebody's gonna have when they actually do leave.
No, I mean, I understand, I mean, this number is only as good as September the 30th of that year.
That's
And
correct.
that number changes on a daily basis.
It changed the day after that.
Yeah, but just so we could look at, as of that date, what that cost would be, if, just break it out, say sick leave, this amount, vacation this amount. Yeah.
Break out sick leave and
Yeah.
vacation? Yeah, that
Instead
can
of
be done.
just put it all together like they do here as
Yeah.
one total, because it's not a realistic total.
Yeah,
Because I'm willing to bet the biggest portion of that is sick leave, it's not vacation.
yeah, it is, and what would give you that number is the preliminary report that you had a different number there.
Yeah,
And so the
yeah.
difference is
Is the one,
vacation.
yeah.
Okay, any other question? Okay, there's a motion, a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Thank you. On item 10, I think the plaque, and Mr. Sotelo can't be here, so we're going to table that until we get the plaque. Next, item 11, discuss an act on election administrator commission. The reason I put it there is because after the primaries, some party chair people came to me and wanted me to look into hiring a new election administrator. But I told most people that we made some recommendations when we met in the commission, and it was made back last year. And the recommendations on how to improve our election, because at that point, they did not want an election administrator. And I came back to the commission and reported that. Now, what happened was that the primaries, actually the chairpersons are in charge of the primary, along with Ms. Ramon. I think before we can go into that, we should give Ms. Ramon and the recommendations that were presented to her, see how they work in November. Now, if in November doesn't work, then I think we should look into that. If we're still having problems with election, I think we should look into it. But I put it there because a lot of people, especially after the city elections, came to me and says, why don't you guys have a county administrator that run all elections? Well, we could hire one, but that doesn't mean that the city has to be on board with what we hire. I mean, they can still do their own. They wanted us to correct the city's election problem, and I don't think we can do that if we're not allowed to do that. So, in my opinion, I think we should wait for election administrator till after November. If it doesn't work after the recommendations we gave to Ms. Ramon, all the commission, then I will call a meeting with the party chair people and Ms. Ramon and Ms. B, because in that commission, I'm the chairman of that commission, and there's Ms. B. Munoz and Ms. Jane Ramon, and the two party chair people make recommendations to commission. Now, again, I'm going to reserve meeting with them because we also have a new Republican chairperson that's coming in. Now, the previous one said no. They didn't want an election administrator. Now, we're going to sit, after November, sit with them and see if they still think the same way that the recommendation that we gave to Ms. Amon work or not. So, I know everybody panicked after the election of the city, but I think we should wait till after November and see how it works, because we did give some recommendations to Ms. Amon.
Judge, if I may clarify, y'all were meeting as a committee, not as
Right.
a commission.
Right. Right. And then we make the commissioners a recommendation to them.
Mhm.
But I'm saying I won't call a meeting till after November to see if they change their attitude or their opinion after November.
Yeah, but at the end of it, Judge, I mean, bottom line is, no matter what y'all do, y'all go do whatever y'all want to do, but it has no bearing on what the court wants to do.
Right, exactly. Mhm.
If the court would want to set up an election administrator, then we have the authority to do that.
We don't have the authority to do that. Unless that committee tells us to do it, we do not have the authority to do it.
That isn't correct.
No, that is correct. No. We cannot do it without the recommendation of that committee. We can abolish it without the recommendation, but we cannot create it without the recommendation.
The way the election code reads is the court sets up the position, sets up the parameters for the position, and then the commission hires that person. What we did the last time is the court set up a committee, just like Judge Valdez said, to make recommendations to the court whether or not we needed an election administrator. But it was not, it wasn't according to the statute, it was according to the court's wishes. That's how they wanted to handle it.
I interpret it differently, but what changed your mind? The last time y'all didn't want it, what changed your mind?
I didn't speak on this the last.
Well, I mean, okay, the group didn't want it, y'all were,
I mean, I think there were some issues with cost, there was consideration about cost, and I think there's a lot of confusion about this, what the commission can do, what the commission can't do. When you read section 31.
Mr. Guzman. Mr. Guzman,
Come
would you
up
mind
here.
coming up?
So we can record you.
Thank you.
Ms. Fuentes, you're after him.
Sure. I think there was a lot of confusion about what could happen or what couldn't happen. I was confused about that also, about what power the Elections Commission. Elections Commission is set up crystal clear in the court, but their only duty is to hire the person and provide some isolation. So it's 31.031, the Commissioner's Court by written order may create the position of County Elections Administrator for the county, period. The commission has some very specific and limited duties. You can use, that commission is, of course, the concentration of the most knowledgeable people in the county about elections. So it's great that the Commissioner's Court wants to look to that group for advice, get their information, but you're not held or restricted by what they do. That responsibility falls on this court. And, of course, you can set up the position, you can fund it, you don't have to activate it until January. So that position can be there and be ready to go in January, funded, ready to go if, for whatever reason, that decision is made. And then after that, you can eliminate the position at any time, at any Commissioner's Court meeting. And so there's no reason to keep kicking the can down the road and waiting. This is a very opportune time. If that position has all of 2017 to do a constitutional election, maybe a bond election, and has time to staff, train, and get ready for 18, that would be the perfect time to have that position now and not have to wait on that position.
What do you think the cost would be?
Counties of similar size pay their elections administrators anywhere between $30,000 and $40,000 a year. If you're in Dallas County, you make $119,000. If you're in Archer County, you make $21,000 as elections. It is a mid-level.
And staff?
The existing staff that is already doing elections now.
What staff?
Half-time position in B's office and an elections clerk in the county clerk's office.
And you're going to get them out of their office, I'm
They would
assuming?
have to, by statute, any amount you're spending on elections and voter registration, by statute, has to go to this office. So those line items would be concentrated under this new administrator's position.
Okay.
Their items, their departmental budgets, based on the budgets that are posted on their website for each department, vary between $170,000 and $200,000.
And
How much?
Between $170,000 and $200,000 for a full department, which would include whatever, we would deduct from that whatever is now spent on elections.
And the confusion between the committee and the commission comes as a result of the fact that members are exactly the same. And the committee, which is not in the statute, comes before the court and makes recommendations, which the court may or may not follow, but it's something that y'all opted to do. And then the commission kicks in. So that's why there's the confusion, and that's why it was called a committee and not a commission when it was adopted or set up.
I personally, Judge, listen
Let-
to
let's-
Sandra and listen to everybody else, and then, I think we need to probably put it on the agenda again.
Okay.
If we're even thinking about it, right now would be the time to do it, just
Right.
because we're going through our budget process and not have to wait till after November.
Right. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge Valdez and County Commissioners, and thank you for the clarification, because when we started researching this issue, we were told at the beginning initially that it had to be a commission that was set up, but there was a committee set up, and the only way that the court could move on this was if there was a recommendation from the commission, but the label was given the committee label, so that was very confusing. But having said all that, I think we when we talked to all these different people, we got to the bottom of this, and I think what Mr. Guzman just laid out is right on target. That's what we found out as well. And I think, Commissioner Nelson, the question that you asked is why did they change their mind? I know that the conversations that we had with both political party chairs at the time, the ex-chair, not the new chair, was that yes, indeed, they had given the recommendation that they were not going to move forward with this. One of the chairs said, I changed my mind because the elections did not get, or the efficiency of the elections did not get any better.
Whose election?
He was referring to the primaries and to the city, even though the county had nothing to do with the city. Mr. Pippin expressed that, in his opinion, it would be better if there was just one election administrator, and people can contract with that administrator if they so choose. The board organization met with the city, the with Ms. Munoz, with Ms. Ramon, with the hospital, and with the school district. Granted, the city, the school, and the hospital, it was support staff that we met with, okay? We understand that if any of these entities are to take any direction, it would have to be by a board or council vote. But support and all those entities said that they would contract, in their opinion, they would suggest to the voting entity, they would contract with whoever's there. They already do. The hospital already does, and so does the school. In all fairness, the school, Ms. Yanakani said that they've never had a problem with the way the election has been run for them. But whoever is there, if there's an election administrator, that's who they would contract with. The city was a little bit more forward, and they said absolutely, that they think that it would be good if we had an election administrator in place. And of course, this is to support the city manager, interim assistant city manager, and the city secretary speaking. So it's not a city council vote at this point. Just wanted to share what we found out, and I think at this point the board organization also is, if you remember a year and a half ago this issue came up, and I think we got up here and we said that at that time that was not a good move because all the other entities had not been talked with yet. But in the future, perhaps it would be a good idea. I think that future is now. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're talking about adding $100,000 at least to the county's budget to do this, of taxpayers' money. At least 100.
Right.
Maybe more, maybe less, depending upon how this thing ends up looking.
Well, I think as a community and certainly as a county, I think we need to ask ourselves, are we happy with the way our elections have been going?
I've been the most vocal about the elections. I haven't been happy in a long time about the elections, but spending a few $100,000, I don't know, is the answer to this for, how many elections we do? One a year, on average?
Yeah, because the entities have the option to...
I'm talking about the county. I mean, there's...
Oh, the county?
I'm talking about the county. There's no guarantee unless these other entities want to fork out money. That's a lot of taxpayers' money.
Exactly, and I think that's why it's good for the county leadership to talk to city leadership. And, what a great opportunity for partnership, right? Here it is. We all talk about it, how well we need to get along with each other and help each other out. This is a golden opportunity for that.
I've got a question.
Sure.
If we were to create this department and have an election administrator, you think that would make a big difference in future elections?
I think it can be, but you're
I
right,
mean,
because
there's
it
no-
depends on
there's-
who you're going to hire. That person,
But there's no guarantee on it.
no, I mean, there's no guarantee I'm going to be here tomorrow.
Well, yeah, no,
Or
definitely,
something,
but we're talking about taxpayer money.
Absolutely.
You know,
And
so-
I think that if you were to put it out and ask taxpayers, are you happy with the way elections are run? And let's go by what they say. Let's say, we have to try something different.
And I completely agree. What we're doing is not working.
Okay.
I mean, our elections are always late. Spending $100,000 or $150,000 to try to get as close to right as possible, I think it's well worth the money.
And that's another reason, is if you guys noticed, if the people noticed that we had a different Democratic chairperson, it was Ms. Salgado, now we have Ms. Lupita de la Paz. We had Mr. Pippin, now we have Judge Laura Allen now. So now the committee might think differently in what the recommendation were then. But at the same time, the reason I put it on the agenda, let me finish, is because right now we're doing the budget process, and if we decide, I'm saying the court decides to have one, right now is the time to implement that, because we're doing our budget hearings right now and working on the budget. Mr. Lowe, myself, and Mr. Muskis are working on it, so we could include that on the budget. That's why I put it there.
Right, and Judge, but that's just to reiterate on what Mr. Guzman said, it's entirely, and I think Commissioner Owens said,
Right.
our understanding is what they're saying
It's up to the court.
entirely up to the county commissioners. I think that it would be great if the committee/commission was to be on the same page and
Right.
be in full agreement. I think that the transition, if there was to be one, would be a lot smoother if everybody
Right.
agreed with it.
Yeah, and that's the whole purpose. I think when the court gave us permission to have a a committee, was to discuss and see what recommendations we need to do, or do we need administrative? So now, we're just giving advice to the court, and given that advice might change now that we have different people on that commission, on the committee. Thank you. All right?
I just wanted to let the public know that this is not something the county clerk is requesting. We're not refusing to do elections.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that that was clear to the public, because it is a function of my office, and we will continue to do it as long as it is a function of my office. I think Mr. Guzman mentioned that there's 90-something counties doing this. There's also 254 counties in the state of Texas. So that's only 100 of them, or 90-something. There must be a reason why the other ones aren't doing it. I don't know, and I'm not aware of what those reasons are. The other point I wanted to make is that every entity, whether it's the school or the city, they can have their own elections administrator. It does not have to be a function of the county elections administrator. The county election administrator still has the option to contract with those entities if they are so approached. So it doesn't eliminate the fact that they still would have to find someone to do their election, okay? And the function of my office is, I know there's a position there which you're considering moving over. That clerk does not just do elections. She also does civil. So you only have half the time working on elections, and the other half the time is being on work that's in my office. So you would only be removing half a position, not a full position.
And I think talking to some city council people, their position was that they want to make their elections nonpartisan. And if we hire somebody who's a Democrat, they feel like the Democrats are going to take over. If we hire somebody who's a Republican, the Republicans will take over some of the... And that's not the case, but they still want that apart. So that's why the city's reluctant to approve something like that, because they do want it to be nonpartisan, whoever we hire. Okay. All right? Any other? Go ahead.
I can tell you I will not vote for this. I think it is a lot of taxpayers' money that, and I've been the most vocal about getting elections fixed. This is a lot of money that we're going to be spending. And we can talk about 100,000 or 50,000, and you know as well as I do that every time this government or any government creates a department, it ends up costing 2 to 3 times what it's supposed to cost. So this thing is going to get very expensive, and I'm not convinced. I agree with the judge. We need to make sure that there was recommendations made. Let's get through the recommendations and see where we're at, and then we can look at this. But this is a lot of money that we're fixing to spend.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. There was no recommendation made on how to improve the times that we get election results out, but we have come across something that is working. We tried it in the last 2 elections, and final results have been out by at least 8:30. One was out at 7 was the early vote, and 7:33 was the final, and the other one was 7:10, I believe, was early vote, and the final was at 8:30. And that's because we had 2 parties, which was the Republican and Democrat, so you're actually running 2 elections at the same time. So one party's results were ready by 7:30 or 7:45, and the other party's elections results were ready by 8:30.
Thank you. Okay. All right, and, okay, anything else? All right, thank you. All right, let's go to item number 12, discuss possible action on air live service from Del Rio for citizens or employees of Val Verde County.
Judge, they're not here, so I'll need to table this.
Okay,
Yes, they tabled it because he's not here.
yeah, we tabled that, number 10. We tabled number 12 because they're not here yet. Okay, next we have item 13, discuss and possible action on the lease agreement between Val Verde County and Del Rio 4x4 Mud Racing.
Judge, I'll make a motion to enter into a lease agreement with Del Rio 4x4 and give the judge authority to sign.
Second.
There's a motion second.
What are we charging?
we'd set up, the $250 they use in the field there, I'd actually come back and, I guess 5 months ago, asked for a reduction because all they use is inside the infield, and the court had approved it.
Okay, there's a motion, a second.
They have also, Commissioner, they dug their own pit, they fenced off their own area, it hasn't cost us anything other than just the land.
Okay.
This will be the second event held there.
Okay. All right. Any other question, discussion? If not, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Thank you. All right, next, item 14, discuss possible action on purchasing a truck or trailer for animal control and the ability to pay out a cycle.
Judge, we had, passed a court order to use up to $85,000 out of the contingency. Part of that money was going to be to purchase equipment. There's been a couple of, trailers that have come up on govdeals.com, and we've not been able to buy them, for the simple reason that the way we pay, it doesn't give us enough time. We could have bought one of the trucks the other day, the whole truck, for about $1,500. I would ask that the court, give us permission to go ahead and buy a trailer or truck up to $3,000 and to pay out a cycle out of that account.
You want to make that in form of motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second. Go ahead.
I know we'd set aside money out of contingency for this, but we'd also discussed maybe using the capital part of this out of something else.
Yeah, so there was some discussion about, the 2013 tax bill, some of the monies that were allocated.
Yeah.
Because they were thinking to use some of that money.
Yeah, to take it out of tax notes instead of out of contingency for the capital improvements, which was the building and the equipment. I would prefer we do that instead of take it out of contingency. It's up to the court, but that's my preference.
Well, we had a court order to take it out of contingency. My only concern would be is if something comes up in the next week, how do we purchase it?
No,
We've already
the
lost.
existing tax notes that are there.
I understand, but what are the dollar amounts? I mean, we don't know exactly.
20-something thousand that we had set aside.
$25,000 was set aside for the battered women's shelter, and we're gonna need it. And then, I don't know, we used some money the other day, I think for Commissioner Flores, that we're gonna use out of contingency, and we took it out of, that tax note. Is that right? I think it was his. So I don't know how much more money's left.
I can, we can do this, if the motion passes right now and pay it out of contingency.
I can bring it back.
Review the tax note,
Yes.
present them at the next commissioner court meeting, and then a motion can be made to move it from the tax note.
I'll make sure that I put it on next month's deal.
All right.
Any other questions? And all those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Next, item 15, discuss possible action regarding Amistad Acres Road Project. Commissioner Flores?
This county has invested a lot of time and effort, made some initial investments to administer the federal and state funds made available for the Amistad Acres Road Project. Unfortunately, the cost estimated for the road are now well beyond the available state and federal funds. We have requested additional funds at state level, but none are available. We've been back and forth with this project, and we've tried everything in good faith. Just the money has not been there. The first estimate that we got from CDS Murray, their engineer John Rody on a paved road down there, was gonna cost over $1,700,000. The second estimate that we got from him concerning a dirt road or a caliche base finish with a low water crossing was gonna be $1,200,000. So the money we have right now available is $730,000. We're talking the difference over pretty much you have $1 million that we're lacking. So with this said, I will make a motion to terminate the project and to pay the money that we spent back to the state out of contingency funds.
How much?
$188,000.
I'll second it
Okay,
for discussion.
okay. There's a motion and a second. Go ahead.
I would much rather, I've got some legal questions, probably on this in executive session. I would feel more comfortable, waiting to see what repercussions we're gonna have.
Well, let's keep in mind, this is not grant money. This is leftover money out of the Box Canyon Road project.
No, and I understand, it's just that, we're fixing to give back $180,000, and that $180,000 is going to come out of our, contingency or general fund or somewhere. I mean, it's not something that we have just sitting around. I mean, I'd like to ask a couple of questions to our attorneys before, I would vote on something like this.
I'm fine with it.
I mean, you can ask a question here. I mean, I don't see why we have to do an executive session.
Do you want to make a motion to table it till after the executive session? or you
Motion
don't?
and a second on the floor.
Yeah,
I'll withdraw my second.
can we draw a second? All right, then we'll vote on it after the executive session. Okay, next we have item 16, discuss possible action on the recommendations of RFQ Selection Committee to award the contract with Tank Depository Services to Muslims.
Good morning, Judge,
Morning.
Court. A few of these to go through. I provided you the score tally sheets for the bank depositories, the RFPs that were submitted.
Motion to accept both banks.
There's a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Second.
Judge, I'm gonna abstain. My
Okay.
wife's part of one of the banks.
All right, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, one abstention.
Okay.
Thank you. Next, item 17, discuss and possible action on submitted request for qualification RFQ for administration of the Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant Project.
We had one submission, and that was from Esser and Company Consulting.
Motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion.
Second?
Second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Next, item 18, discuss possible action on submitted request for proposal for the transportation for autopsy services.
This sunset basically is zero?
Yes, Sunset was 0. The other two that were submitted were referred to a
Statute.
a reasonable, price.
Zero.
Huh?
Zero is a reasonable price.
Right. Reasonable is a little subjective, yes.
We did this once before.
We did?
But then we ran into also that the JP can order basically from whomever. Is that right?
That is correct.
So, I mean, wouldn't it just be reasonable maybe to set a dollar amount that all of them could live with type deal? I mean, we're gonna be all over the place again.
We're only obligated to transport them down there, not back.
That's
That would be-
correct.
That would be when the JP would
Right.
order it, then you're
Right.
transporting them there. But county's responsible if nobody claims the body or nobody steps up to have it returned.
Well, now that you brought that up, if nobody claims the body, once he gets here and then somebody claims him here, can we go back and charge him if we have an expense? And if we have to bring them back, I mean, you're looking at me, I know that's sort of morbid, but I mean,
It's beyond.
it's just like,
There-
right? I mean, it's just, you know.
At the time that the body has to be returned is where you make that determination.
I understand that. But if we bring the body back, we get the individual here. I mean, and then somebody says, well, now that he's here, I want to take possession, and I want it very improperly.
Intentional deceit, you're trying to
Yes.
kind of work
Try to
around.
avoid, yes. Well, either way, we've got one question on the table right now. Who are we going to go with? If we go to zero, what authority do we have over the JPs of them using them? That's what we ran into the last time. So no matter who we pick, it's like they were picking whoever they wanted to anyway.
That is correct.
And then we ended up with a bunch of bills that were coming through.
Are we obligated to pay it out of our budget, or can we take it out of their budget?
Do you have a budget for autopsy, transportation of bodies?
There is a line item, yes.
That's where it comes out.
But
Even though it goes against
policy.
the bid or the order of the court? So if we select Sunset, which is zero, and they pick somebody else,
That's correct.
we're not obligated to pay it.
That is incorrect.
Well, that's just it.
They have the right to order this court.
No, they have a right to order an autopsy and call somebody to come pick up the body.
Yes.
And they call
Against the
anybody.
wishes of the order of the court.
Well, actually, it's the court against the wishes of the justice of the peace.
Who supersedes?
Justice of the peace.
So the justice of the peace has a right to override a court order of this court.
The court does not have the right to order the justice of the peace to stick to one funeral home. It's statutory.
But we can set rates then, and we can set the rate, and then they can order it from whomever they want to order it from, but we can set the rate,
That is correct.
right? So if we set a rate for all three of them, then they can pick and choose whoever they want to, but yet we know what we're going, we have, what's the phrase, the word that you just said?
Reasonable.
A reason, yeah.
That's correct. In one instance, though, the JP ordered somebody outside of our jurisdiction to transport the body, so, I mean, things are going to happen like that, aren't they?
No, and that's fine, but as long as we set a rate, we have the authority to set the rate, and then they would have to abide by that rate. They can pick whomever they want, they just need to abide by the rate.
Yes, sir.
And if they don't?
We pay.
So then basically this is an effort futility.
No, Commissioner Owens, I think, made a good point that you're setting the rate.
Set the rate. Yeah.
And so these funeral homes are obligated to charge that rate.
Therefore, if the JP orders a specific funeral home to come pick up a body, and they know they're only going to get paid X amount, they could refuse to provide the service.
That is
Now you put
absolutely
it back on the funeral home.
I don't know that I'll take your word for it. I don't believe that the JPs have a right to override an order of this court. But
If we went with half of whatever's being proposed by Sunset, would that be a fair rate, since they were going down?
we're paying $500
I
now.
believe we're paying $500 on average, is that correct?
So that would be,
1% today from Cox, it's 250.
but we don't know what they did, though, because here we actually have a schedule that says removal of person is $275.
Transportation, this is transportation, $250.
Okay. I think Judge Foss wants to address the court. Come ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Judge Foss, Precinct 2. In reference to the transportation charges, all that you're obligating is the funeral home that you designate to actually just transport the body and bring it back. If a person or a family wishes to go with another funeral home, the funeral home that actually took the body is not obligated and cannot keep that body there. For instance, let's say that you did choose Sunset to go ahead and do your delivery service at zero cost. Then that's their only obligation to that family, is to take them and bring them back. If the next of kin of the deceased wishes to take that body and move it over to the funeral home of their choice, then Sunset is not obligated to keep that body. They can't do that. Actually, all you're paying for is just the transportation of going and coming back.
Yeah, and that's all we got a bid on, it's just the idea of setting a rate.
Exactly.
Because it wouldn't be fair to Sunset, because I think they wouldn't have submitted a zero bid unless they thought there would be something else that went along with this.
Well,
So if we set we can't, that's not fair to everybody else, would be a zero bid. I mean, we have to set a rate, and then y'all can go pick whoever y'all want to go pick. But our rates right now, the problem
I think that would be a reasonable thought also, that if you give everybody an equal playing field, and they decide to either take it or not, that's another option.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a very good,
That, what we're
idea.
trying to get
That's-
away from is we keep getting bids all over the place.
That's
I mean,
exactly right.
You know, and we were just told that y'all have the authority to go pick and choose wherever you want to. So if we put in a rate, then everybody
Yeah.
understands that no
Actually-
matter who y'all pick.
Yeah, actually, what I personally do myself, when I went to the hospital last night to do an inquest, I always ask the family, who is the funeral home of their choice? And
But
that's
again,
what we do.
at the end of it, you have the ultimate decision. If the family
Yes.
says X, you're probably gonna go with the family,
That's exactly right.
right?
That's exactly
So it's
right.
your decision to say yes or no.
That's
or
correct.
pick and choose. But we have to have a rate, that way for what the county's paying for, we actually know what it's going to be.
That's exactly right. Yeah, if you just set one rate for everybody, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
So what's the rate gonna be? I mean, you said $250 for transportation, that's pretty normal? When we get our bills, is that pretty normal, right?
No, I've got one in here for $2,500.
Okay, yeah, that's not normal.
Why is it 2,500?
Well, it's more than one, number one. But it's $500 for three, $1,000 for another one.
By which funeral home?
Trinity,
I think we just need to set a rate,
And
come up with a dollar amount.
To include different,
Well, we have,
well, you have
the first
refrigeration
one, I don't
sometimes.
like the way it reads, but the first one on our list, and then all of them are sort of,
Right, I think you need to have all that inclusive.
Yeah.
If not, you're gonna get menu priced and invoiced. If you state only transportation.
when you come up with a rate.
But if you come up with a rate and they charge something different and the JP sends an order, we have to pay it.
The JP's not gonna send an order for you to pay it. You're gonna get a bill from the funeral home. If you adopt a rate and you notify the funeral homes, then you have a basis for saying this is all we're gonna pay.
Right.
And the key would be like everything else that we do, we need to send the notification.
That is
Yeah.
very, very correct.
Yeah. That way, we don't have to pay.
Yeah, that's been our failing in the past.
Our average has been around $500, is what it's been.
And if you look at this, I mean, he's at $275, removal of person from place of death, $275, body bag, $150, transportation, $300, refrigeration if necessary, $285. And so
I'll make a motion not to accept any of them and set the rate to be $500, and the
Okay.
JPs can pick their own.
Okay, there's a motion.
Second.
Second.
are you gonna include in the motion for the person agent to contact the
And for the purchasing agent to contact all the funeral homes and notify them of the set price.
So you're gonna do just one set price of $500, no matter what they do, up to $500, is that the motion?
All inclusive.
All inclusive, to include everything.
But it's transportation too.
Transportation too.
Okay. All right, there's a motion. Any other questions?
We're gonna be getting stuck with some, I mean, they're gonna bill us for the 500. Yeah, where right now, we're getting billed, some of them 250 and 300. Right.
But you also get billed for
You get billed extra on all the other stuff.
an oversized case.
Okay. All right.
I just,
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any other question or discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Three?
Second.
who makes the motions?
Okay. All right, next, 19, discuss the possible action to submit request for qualifications RFQ for the development of recreation parks and open space master plan.
One submission, and that was by Escher and Company Consulting.
How does this work? If they get paid on a percentage of after we get done, or how
I
does it
think we're
work?
gonna need to negotiate a contract
You have to
with
negotiate a
them.
contract and a price.
Right,
Since it's a
exactly.
professional services.
Okay,
So I'll
motion
make-
approved.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a
And
motion,
then,
second, go ahead.
Don't we need to create a
Where are we gonna get the money?
committee to negotiate with them? The
We
price?
can do that, yes, sir.
You need a committee?
Need to create a committee to
Commissioner-
negotiate.
Create it.
Commissioner Nettleton, Mr. Muskis. Frank, do you mind?
No.
There's three.
Okay,
Second,
okay. There's a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Next, we have item 20, discuss possible action on bid award for Val Verde County Library expansion, project furniture, furnishings, and equipment bid solicitation.
I submitted
You only
the,
had one, right?
only one, and that was the one, actually, those three schedules were not bidded on the first round, so we rebidded. And, Schedule 9, we had one submission from Workplace Solutions. The other two were not bidded, but they, in combination, they will not get anywhere close to $50,000. So therefore, my recommendation is that we use pre-bidded contracts to purchase any other additional equipment for that.
what do we have budgeted in there for furnishings?
I don't know what the total budget for furnishing was. It was, I want to say it was close to $480,000.
I know, but it's real hard to
Some
vote on
expensive
something that we
furniture.
don't know.
What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we're gonna vote on something to hand out money, but I don't know how much money we have.
It's within their,
Right.
okay.
Can we find out?
Oh, sure, we can find out. If you want to table this.
I would like
we
to
can have it
table
after
it.
executive.
If you don't mind, please.
Motion to
You want to
table.
know what has already been spent on
I want,
furnishings?
yes.
How much did we
What-
allocate for the?
Okay.
What's the
Just
balance?
the allocation.
Yes. Judge, if
Okay.
you don't mind.
There's a motion, but you want a motion to
Any
table?
motion to table, I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion to table. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 5. All right, let's do the last one here. 21, request and authorization purchase list items for capital outlay, computer equipment, and furnishings, $1,200.
They have their money in the budgets? What are we doing here?
Mhm.
They're within the budget?
They are.
Do they?
That's what this says, but
Well, I know what this says, I'm asking you what's really in the budget.
Is the money there? Jess?
As far as I can tell, that
I
both.
didn't check it before.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to check it, bring it back?
Oh, well, I did, I mean, I was told,
We had $1,800 and we had $1,500 and we haven't taken a thing out.
I'll make a motion to approve it, provided that their money is allocated.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, second. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody? Right? Thank you. If you want to go back to...
Judge, if you don't mind,
For what?
for the airline,
Item 12, we table that. Discuss the possible action on air life service to Del Rio for citizens and employees of Alberta County. I think they're here now.
thank y'all.
Good morning, good
Good
morning.
morning, how's it going?
Thank you for allowing us this opportunity. From what we understand, there might be a few questions. So
Well,
let me introduce myself real quick again. My name is Michael Keaton. I'm the program director for Methodist Air Care 5, which is now based here out of Del Rio. This is Rosa de la Garza, our membership, Air Medcare membership manager for this region. And of course, you guys know Xochitl Hurtado, which is the CEO of Valverde Regional Medical Center. So we're basically coming here to see if there's any information or anything else that you guys need from us, any type of dialogue that we can get going to help push the membership so we can get the community covered. So if there's anything you guys have for us?
We were presented a plan, I think it was 230 employees.
225.
225, I think it was 11,000 and change.
11,250.
11,250 for our employees, and then that would cover anybody that was living within the household. Is that right? And then there was a plan floating out there, and I think you went and visited with them, a plan maybe to cover the citizens of Valverde County that might be split among the school, the city, the school, the hospital, and the county. But there's difference in coverage.
Absolutely.
And that's what was really, I mean, I think that the court needs to to hear that, I mean, we're not here to make a decision on this right now,
Right.
but I mean, the difference in coverage is what scared me, and we actually got in an argument with my wife because,
Okay, so,
Yeah,
if you don't mind,
that-
Rosa, so as a CEO of the hospital, obviously you can understand that this is incredibly important for me as an individual. I think it's wonderful that we're able to bring this type of benefit to the citizens of Valverde County. With that, though, most people end up having to use Life Flight. It's an unintended additional expense of $45,000 minimum that they're going to get forced to have to pay at some point. As a CEO, I don't feel I don't feel that we should put that additional burden on our citizens. For me, it's a matter of when you take Life Flight, it's not by choice. You're taking it because it's a life or death type of situation or critical matter, which we need to get you to a higher level of care immediately. So I see this as a catch-22. So yes, you've got Life Flight, that's great. I have personal experience with my own employees who've had to use that already, who are now charged with this large expense. But at the end, to them, it was a small price to pay as it relates to the life of their child. So we have started the discussions of the site plan portion of it. To your point, Commissioner Owens, it was more of if the flight took place within Valverde County, that would be covered with the additional cost if we split it amongst those 4 entities. As more dialogue has occurred with this, even myself as the CEO recognize that may not be the best solution, mostly because individuals of the county household would still be asked to spend an additional $30 to get the full coverage, which is probably 90%, and Michael can attest to this, 90 if not 99% of the flights are going to be from Valverde County, outside Valverde County, which would still trigger an additional expense of maybe $40,000, $30,000 of that flight. So here you have a citizen who's going to be under the impression that flight's covered due to all of us pulling together and making this possible for our county, but they didn't make that extra effort to get that $35 coverage for the household, and now they're still left with the bill.
Okay.
So I think that's part of where our disconnect is, to the point, even as a CEO, I think I'm changing.
And that's what scared me, is, I mean, because when y'all came in the first time,
Correct.
we were going to pay X,
Right.
so much per employee, but it would cover them leaving Valverde County and go to another hospital,
Correct.
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And there would be no charge to
No, that's a
those
full
individuals.
membership.
Okay. And this other one, what exactly does it cover? I mean, again, if I get hurt here and I need to leave, go to San Antonio, if in this group thing, what's the difference in coverage? With Valverde County, if I just paid my employees, they'd be covered.
Right, correct.
This other one, they're not covered.
Yeah, what we're doing on the municipal site plan, and there's 2 options. You can go ahead and do the full membership for the whole county, or you can do a traditional site, which is what we have been discussing. And pretty much the way it works is the county, everybody within the county are covered. Here, if it originates from Valverde County, any resident. And then if those households, if those people want to go ahead and upgrade, an additional $35 will cover them per year anywhere else in our service area.
Okay,
50
but,
states at that
okay,
point.
but bottom line is, though, that if we go in this group at the $150,000 or whatever, and everybody participates, because there was $150,000 for the whole county. If I'm a citizen of Valverde County, I'm in Valverde County, I get hurt in Valverde County,
You're covered.
I'm flown out, I'm covered.
You're covered.
Okay, the only thing, and I'm just trying to wrap my mind
Sure,
around this.
sure, no, that's fine.
If I get hurt in
Somewhere else.
Brackett or Uvalde, then I'm not covered.
If you don't have that upgrade,
Yeah, but
You
but
will not
for
be
what,
covered.
for what the, if all the entities were to bunch together, for what we paid, if you're hurt in Valverde County and you leave Valverde County, you're covered.
Correct.
I mean, it's the simplest, right?
So you can look at it in 2 different coverages, right? There's
Mhm.
one that if the flight originates in Valverde
Mhm.
County, and the other one is the entire 15-state coverage that we have. Obviously, that's the premier top membership that we would like for you guys to get, because then at that point, there's really no worrying about it. You can be traveling anywhere in our 15-state coverage, and you can get flown out.
But our cost.
So, yeah, so to kind of elaborate on that, so as I've really been discussing more with them on what are the best options as we look at extending the coverage, because there's a lot of travel between Bracketville, Comstock, Eagle Pass. I mean, a lot of even my own employees are making that trip, San Antonio, et cetera. I think there's an opportunity to have more people at the table for discussion. Rosa's actually had discussions with H-E-B and Walmart as individuals looking to cover their employees as well. She's also had some discussions with some of the banks in town. I'm very comfortable, I'm very passionate about this, on asking those individuals,
instead of, donating dollars for a great fireworks show, why not donate those dollars to, well, seriously.
I agree with you.
To a county effort, and add 6, if not 8 more players to the game.
That was good.
That being said, Airlife has really come to the table and really negotiated down to a significant rate that when the math is all said and done, and we're meeting today at noon, which you're welcome to come to at the hospital, kind of the 4 major entities that started this discussion, and I know Bank and Trust is going to be there just as a listening ear. We're looking at if we can get 6 players to the table, we can have a quarterly payment throughout the year, and each player would have about $54,000 of responsibility, and that's full coverage, the premium coverage for the entire county. To me, that's something that I think all of us could look at and seriously consider putting in the budget, and that's a quarterly payment as well. It's $54,000 spread out across the year for 4 payments.
And then that dollar scares me a little bit, and I know the benefit. I'll just throw that out there. But when I look at $11,250 to cover my employees, full coverage, versus I think we were like a couple $1,000s more when we looked at the percentages that you might not agree with. But when we were looking at the percentages of the 150,000, I think Dr. Rios had come up that you would break that out depending on employees, which the school has the most, the hospital is second, the city's third, and then we were fourth on employees. We went from 11,250 to $13,000, but yet our coverage would drop, but everybody within the county would be covered.
Now, we've done the math specifically for your employees being full coverage and then still contributing to the county-wide effort, which gives us the originating, just here in Valverde County, and that brings it to about $20,000 roughly.
And that would...
Per year.
Per year, yes, sir.
And then the other one you're talking about, the 50-something per...
That would be full coverage, meaning anywhere from the U.S.
But that's every resident of this county. And that's per quarter, per group, or just...
It'd be $54,000 spread out quarterly payment, so it's 54 divided by 4.
54 for the year.
For each entity, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I sort of like the percentage better, but...
And we worked out several different options. We've done a lot of working with numbers and stuff, so y'all are welcome to come in at noon at the hospital, and we're going to go ahead and be...
If you can.
Yeah, I can.
I can't be there, but...
And we're going to be going over numbers and trying to see how we can work
I mean,
with
I think this is, and I think every member of the court has expressed interest in it. I think we just need to see what it's going to cost.
We need to see what our cost is going to be. We need to get the final number of what it's going to cost and what it's going to cover so that we know that the investment is worth. I mean, if we're going to pay this and then the citizen's still got to pay something else, it's kind of the numbers.
And that's why, as I've wavered back and forth, and again, so it's without a question I'm covering the hospital employees, and because that's the right thing to do. I think what pains me is you've got a whole bunch of folks that are self-employed. That's what Del Rio is. It's a lot of self-employed individuals. They don't get the privilege of having a larger organization like county, school district, hospital to give them that benefit. And I think that's an unfair advantage, and yet they're huge contributors to us as an economy. So I think that's where my passion is driving from is, why are we leaving out maybe one of the stronger individuals just because they're self-employed, and they don't have the opportunity to tap into some of the resources that we're offering our employees just because they're employed. So I think that's why my passion has now gone from just taking care of my 550 individuals to expanding that across the county. I don't have to do that, but that's something that I feel very passionate about because we are a sole provider. I think it's the right thing to do, and anywhere from just the county coverage to the full coverage. But like I said, I'm delivering a pretty strong message, and at least these guys are saying. And I have no problem going to 3 of the more popular banks in town, the ones that are very, very community-focused, that I see all the time contributing their funds to community efforts, as well as going to H-E-B and Walmart. And I know both of those organizations as a whole are very passionate about doing things for small communities. I really think we can get this across the board, 8 players at the table, if not more, and spread that cost out even less. So I think that's kind of the direction I'm going at. At a minimum, I think we need to consider the county cost.
If we were to, while all this is taking place, if we were to cover our employees for X, for the 11,250, because we feel this might be taking a little bit too long.
Correct.
Could we get a credit or something back, and once you bunch it,
it's
how would that
something
work?
I would have to get approved because it hasn't been done, but I don't see why.
Well, I mean, my deal is, y'all first came to us with our employees, which I think, I don't know how long all this is going to take.
Correct.
So, I mean, if we could get ours covered right now, and we could use that dollars towards the rest of the plan for everybody else, I mean, that might be something that for us to
And that's
consider.
What's the total cost to cover the entire county for the whole plan?
The entire county, full coverage for everybody you're looking, and it was a little bit higher, and Xochitl has
Just
been
throw
able
it
to
out there.
negotiate with us.
Give me the number.
Because she really wanted to do
It
this.
started at 390, it's now 325.
$325,000.
And we might be able to tweak that a little bit, but
And that covers every
Everybody.
individual of this county, no
Every
matter where they're
resident.
at within y'all's coverage group?
That
correct,
is correct.
Okay.
over 240 places.
Okay.
So, and I've got a whole different options on how we can work it on percentage-wise and everything else, and payment options. We are really trying to get this going here.
No, I understand, and it's a
So
great
we've
plan,
got
and it
it-
needs to get done. I'm just trying to figure
Yeah.
out what's our real number, and then we can divide
But
that.
that's, the 325 would cover everybody.
You know,
And then
then
the
you divide that
other,
amongst 5 or 6 or 7 different groups.
Correct.
Then it becomes a reasonable number.
correct.
Yes.
And then on your,
And there's probably even small businesses that would be willing to contribute some money into it. They can't
Correct.
afford tens of hundreds of thousands,
Sure.
but, you know, a little bit of money to offset some of that.
correct.
So, the numbers, let's see, if we've got 6 entities at the table, it's about 54,191. If you have 8 entities at the table, you're looking at 40,000.
And that's pretty reasonable for what you're getting.
Correct. If
Absolutely.
you looked at the value proposed, I mean, the savings is there.
I just don't want to wait.
Correct.
As a
And that's
commissioner, I don't
one of
want
our
to wait
concerns.
and take a chance on, we should have done this as a county for our employees within Valverde County that we hired. And then 2 weeks later, I've got somebody hurt that we should have.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
so, and especially if those dollars that we would pay now would roll over,
Right.
sort of go towards the rest of something
Sure.
else.
So I will find out.
If you can get us an answer by the next week, that way we can discuss it and
That, we can put an
sounds good.
agenda.
Yeah, and the goal for me, honestly, because it's the same thing, I've got to get a budget approved, really by July, August, the latest. And so I've got to get this kind of incorporated, whether I'm going to do it just for the employees or go, with a $54,000 type of expense. So I'm kind of on that same timeline you are. I can't wait this out. And
Yeah.
again, I've already unfortunately had individuals that are hospital who've had to take advantage of the life flight that are stuck with this bill because we hadn't made a decision.
And that's what scares me. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how long all this is gonna take. It seems like, and the more people we get involved, the longer it's gonna
Right.
take. Judge,
Yes.
there's somebody out there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are you talking about paying for everybody that lives in the county?
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question. I spoke with one the last time they were here.
You showed me your card, that's
Yes,
right.
I have that coverage. Now, is that gonna interfere with,
No.
if in fact they do this? Will my coverage interfere with them covering the whole county, or?
No, ma'am. In fact, that's the question that we're going to get answered. So because you're already a member and you pay your annual or whatever subscription you've elected, we'll try to figure out some kind of an answer to where we can offset whatever it is that you're paying, some type of credit, something that you're not excluded. You're completely included in this, since you are a resident of the county. But we need to try to figure out the numbers as far as, you're already a member, you already make your payments, so what are we doing with that? We're going to figure that out. But
In the meantime, you're covered.
But the most important thing is, your flights are covered.
Yeah.
Whether the county does it or not, and you're a member right now, your flights are covered.
Okay. All right, and if I have to call a special meeting for this, I don't have a problem with it.
Any other
I
questions?
know I tabled some things that I worded wrong, so we could have a special meeting on it. Just give us back the
Thank you.
information.
Thank you.
Okay?
One more announcement, we are having a ribbon cutting this Wednesday, the 15th at 11 a.m., so everybody's welcome to show up, take a tour of the base, the aircraft, have a light lunch with us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take a break.
Yeah, let's take a 10-minute break right now.
We're going so fast. What? You're smiling, what'd you do? You did something. You did something.
Ready? All right, let's get back.
39.
All right, we're gonna move up the plats, because I know Mr. Canales is here real quick. Doesn't take that long. Go ahead, Mr. Stern.
Thank you, sir.
Item
Thank you,
66.
Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. These plats are in Commissioner Nettleton's precinct. I think Commissioner Nelson has reviewed the Wolf Creek plat that Mr. Foreman.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion. Need a second?
Second?
Second. Any other question, discussion? Not all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
All right.
The second plat is an amending plat that's allowed by Texas Governmental Code for a error that might have been made that does not affect the size of the lot or create any change in the dimensions. And there was a mistake made in the field notes. I brought the old plat in case you wanted to see it, Commissioner.
That's the one out there where the boat storage is.
Yes, that is correct.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion. Need a second?
Second?
Second, any questions?
This one has nothing to do with the variance or nothing, it's just on the size.
This is the plat. Now we're going to discuss it.
Okay? Okay, there's a motion, a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Okay? Next, we have item 22. Discuss
Yeah.
possible...
You
Got
had
another?
something, is that it?
Item 22, discuss possible action on appeal, Commissioners Court regarding application for variance to meet setback requirements for construction of lot 35AD LKF, Lake Ridge Estates.
Thank you, Judge. First, for information purposes, the definition of a variance is the difference between where the building is, the owner wants the building to be set, assuming that 10 feet from the lot line, lot line to the required amount by the rules of the Amistad Land Use and Zone, which are 25. Therefore, in that particular case, the variance would be 15 feet. We have here...
Did he do that for my benefit?
Yes.
This came before the Amistad Land Use and Zone Commission. We have here the replat of this lot that was just approved, which is 35A Block F. And there are two slabs existing there right now. The slabs are set back different dimensions. For example, we'll call this slab here, there's going to be a proposed building there, Building A. And that would require, if he was to build there, pull a building permit, a 16.7-inch setback because of the fact that building there is set back right now the slab is 8.3 feet.
The one that you're pointing at is not on the screen.
That one. The next one is the one that he's eminently going to build on right now. There we go. All right, we got it. This is the second one, and that one is going to require, that is Building B, and that will require a 14.5-inch setback. Variance. So what we're requesting is, what the owner is requesting is a 16.7-inch variance on Building A and a 14.5 variance on Building B.
And just, I mean, I spoke with you and everybody and their grandmother. That building was built in 2002. Basically, the rules were in place.
That is correct.
The rules were in place. The problem was that the rules, this was before your time, I think.
Dr. Martinez and I were hired October 15th of 2001.
Okay.
There had been...
Well, evidently, they weren't enforced, and they weren't enforced because they'd never been enforced. So, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. So this the individual that owned this property before didn't know there was a set of rules to go by.
Very possibly did not.
Yeah. And then the individual that's now asking for a variance is trying to fix what's been done.
Correct, sir.
Right.
I have something for sure.
Go ahead.
This area, this lot doesn't have any electricity, so no application for electricity was ever made, so it wouldn't have come to the county at that point, so it would have been, unless you saw it being constructed.
Well, and the thing is, though, that I think we're trying to get as close to right as possible again, and that's the reason that this individual is bringing it to us. I have concerns. I spoke with a owner, actually called me last week, and I had concerns. I mean, you don't want to stop growth, and you know, Roger, better than anybody, I hate authority to begin with.
I understand that.
And you really don't want to stop growth, and he's trying to do the right thing, and that's how come he's bringing it to us. I mean, my thing is, it's boat storages. Even though he's asking for a 16-foot variance, which would take care of both buildings, right, with the variance that he's asking for. Would
Actually,
take care of
both buildings would be the 16.7-inch variance.
Because it'd take care of both buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's it going to create? And I know this is part of the very, very first Lake Ridge. This is part of the last things that probably hasn't even been built on. What is it going to create for us as a court later on? I mean, I know we do one. I mean, it's on a
We've done
case-by-case
several. We've done
basis.
several variances on these. Some have been, in most cases, they're existing buildings that need remodeling or whatever, and now require a permit, or they had a building and they're adding a shed to the front of it, and to keep it uniform with what the shed is, the variance has to come into place. This has happened probably, I've sat on the chairman of the homicide zoning for 10 years, and we've probably done about one a year, maybe. There's not very many of them. Most people know you have to go get a building permit. You're right. Before we started changing it, nobody did anything. Everybody just did whatever they wanted to do out there. So we've worked, Roger's worked real hard at getting this.
And just for the record, the individual that's asking for the variance is not the individual that owns the facilities or the buildings at the point that it was built.
That I really do not know.
No, that's for the record.
You've established
Yes.
that?
Mhm.
Okay.
How much?
I mean, this is something that you're gonna have, the city deals with it every time on their variances. We're gonna have to continue to deal with it. This is an existing slab that got blowed down in the storm, and they're putting it back exactly the way it was. I don't see an issue with it. If we were talking about a brand-new building starting from scratch, I would probably have a bigger discussion, but they're just putting back what was already there.
And putting back what was already there, and it was built by somebody else.
Yeah, so I mean, this, you know, if this was a brand-new building, we'd be having a different discussion, but it's not, and so I don't have an issue with it.
The 30-foot setback, what we deal with, and just so we...
That is
perfectly
correct.
clear.
We do not enforce deed restrictions as long as the owner meets the setback required
So all
by
we're
the
dealing with is what was
rule
in
by the
Amistad
Amistad
Zone.
Land Use Court.
The original setbacks on some of these were 75 feet. They've changed them. Anything on 1144 used to be a 75-foot setback. It's been changed. But since this is existing, I don't have a problem. I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
Okay, there's a motion.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion?
Judge, I'm torn between this. I just don't want to stop the progress because I want him to go build this. That way I can charge him more taxes. You know, we appreciate everything that y'all do. And I can say, though, that we didn't take any action during the Amistad zoning meeting. There was no action taken because you could come back here and sort of go through this process. I appreciate you bringing it to us so we could go ahead and take care of both buildings versus it looked like we're just trying to piecemeal. Look like we're trying to get away with something. If you take care of both of them, let's take care of the whole issue all at once. That way we're just not piecemealing it, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, there's a motion, a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? 4-0. All right, next, item 23, discuss possible action regarding library booking contract.
Judge, real quick.
Sure.
You're going to be done with this before January 1st? Or will you be done with this before January 1st?
A lot depends on the weather.
Okay. Well, if you're done, could you just inform our appraisal district that way? We can put you on the roll. Thank you.
Thank you.
We should receive a reduction for,
Being on it.
increasing the...
Thank you. All right, next, item 23, discuss possible action regarding library booking contract with David Keith, Cleven, Animal,
What is it?
Edutainment, it's not
Edutainment. All right, Okay, go ahead, Ms.
Good morning, everyone, and I would like to apologize for not bringing this item last month when I brought my other performers in, but it was just an oversight. So, yeah, Animal Edutainment, also known as the Critter Man, and this is a $750 fee that also, as the others, will be reimbursed by the Friends of the Library at the conclusion of the summer program. We're working on getting our flyers out in English and Spanish. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to mention that our first performance was very well attended at the community center. We had over 100 folks show up for that. So.
Okay.
So what action do you need? What do you need?
I just need for you to approve the payment of $750.
And then we're going to be reimbursed? you
We're
said?
going to
Or
be
something about
reimbursed by the Friends of the Library
Motion to
at the
approve.
end of the summer.
Second.
There's a motion to, I think, has it been gone to the,
That's what's going to be my question.
to the grant review committee?
I'm sorry?
It hasn't gone because she hasn't got the money back from the Friends of the Library.
Right.
She doesn't get that till the end of the season. We're paying it out of our budget, and then once she gets the money, she'll come back to the grant
Could she
review.
go ahead
later.
and maybe schedule a meeting with you and get that
Sure,
done?
absolutely.
That way we're not waiting, you're not waiting on us in order to accept the money.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay.
I can do that this week.
Judge, in the item, it talks about a contract. Is there a contract involved?
I don't, this is actually just an agreement. Let me see, if I have it here. I think we just have an invoice, and we're giving him a 1099. So no, it's not actually a contract.
What do you have?
I'm looking.
Have y'all seen it? Evidently not.
No.
Can y'all
That's
make
what
sure
was
that, can y'all make sure that our attorneys have a chance to look at it, or the county attorneys have a chance to look at it?
There,
That's not a
apparently
con-
there's not a contract.
It's just an
Yeah,
invoice. You just
I
bought some
think-
books.
I think one of the previous performers requested a
It's a
contract,
performer,
so.
though. It's not a,
Okay.
yeah, it's called the Critter Man.
Well, this is books, so.
The attachment, I'm
It's
sorry.
booking.
The booking.
It's a booking,
Booking.
okay.
See, I
Do you
was
have it?
Yeah.
Or do you have something I don't?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
If y'all are
sorry.
gonna sign anything, you really need to let them look at it.
Okay, absolutely. I can do that as well.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, there's some,
So I'll plan on scheduling with the grants committee and getting whatever agreement we
Good.
have back at the office to the attorney's
Get with
office.
Mary Ann.
Okay. So with that, I
That-
can have your approval?
That money will go back into wherever she paid it from.
But what y'all are doing is just authorizing when she presents the invoice.
To be paid. Mhm.
okay,
Yes, please.
okay. Okay, there's a motion, a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0.
Thank you very much. Y'all have
Thank
a
you.
good day.
You too. Thank you.
And now we have item 24, discuss possible action requesting authorization to allow it to incur damages for Val Verde County office roof, utilizing the remaining insurance funds. Go ahead.
Yes, Commissioners, this morning. We have, from the hail damage that we suffered, a total of $67,000 plus or minus available, and like to come to the court to,
That was after the ACs?
that's with the AC, so it's less than the $67,000, Commissioner.
Okay. Is
The
there enough money?
ACs are $12,000. There's not enough money to do a total replacement on the roof, but we need to fix what we have. We've got several leaks in the building. Don't we address this at the last court? I think that the court decided to come up, every time you're going to ask for.
Yeah, all we
expenditure.
talked about was the ACs. He was gonna use money for the, from the other roofs that were not really needed to
Yeah.
be fixed for the ACs, and then whatever was left, he was gonna get bids for the roof.
So, I need one more quote, or one more bid to get that done.
So what are they coming in at?
A total replacement on that whole facility is $250,000.
Okay, but to fix what we have
And
there?
to fix what we have is coming anywhere from $9,000 to $19,000.
So you have funds available?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So what is it you need from us?
He needs a motion to
motion
fix
to,
it.
Authorize you to do it. May I make a motion?
and there's a
Authorize you
motion,
to
there's a
repair the
motion,
roof.
there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Next, item 25, discuss possible action authorizing the Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to make payment out of cycle for item purchased through Stone Guard grants.
This is a satellite wireless. We have a quote for 30 days after that. That price is going to go up. The grant's supposed to be released this week in the amount of $3,600 plus minus dollars.
3,600?
3,600.
Okay.
And it's fully funded, and that goes out at the end of the month, so that's why I'm requesting it to be paid.
Question.
Yes, sir.
This money, because we got in trouble 2 years ago by writing checks and then we didn't get reimbursed right away. Where are we getting this money from to write this check?
We have some surplus monies in the grant account.
Okay.
And that's where it's paid for. And then.
We get paid, we'll put it back.
The grant comes in, it goes back into that.
So we're not gonna write money out of the general account and then end up $800,000 again that we have to freeze the budget because we're not getting paid back. I just wanna make sure.
No, I don't think that's the case here, Commissioner. Motion to approve.
There's a motion.
Second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. Next, we have item 26, presentation on section 614.051 of Government's Code, allowing purchase of firearm by honorary retired peace officer.
Motion to approve. What's the dollar amount? We've done this in the past.
We authorized this. Yes, we authorized this in the past, back in 2015. The dollar amount that the court approved was $150. Second.
There's a motion, a second. Okay, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. Item 27, discuss possible action authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to sign memorandum of understanding of agreement between Laughlin Air Force Base and Valverde County Sheriff's Office for confinement of
Judge.
military inmates in Valverde County Correctional Facility.
We get paid?
We will be on this one, yes, sir.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nobody. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item 28, consider to rent a new veterans office space containing lobby, reception, 4 offices, 2 enabled restrooms, and disability parking. Space enables the veterans office to properly service 4,000 veterans and 12,000 veterans families and meet the mandate privacy and disability requirements. Estimated cost, lease agreement, $2,000 to $2,400, 1,600 square feet to 2,400 square feet.
What are we leasing?
At this point, we have, item Judge, Commissioners. We have 2 possibles, however, we're still looking, and we were just told about this on Memorial Day, that we have to move out, mandated, move out. This one's right across, the post office, it's in fairly good shape.
I thought we were offered a piece of free property.
Yes, we were. Now, there's also, I think the problem was that everybody in the Middle Rio Grande has to move up. They were gonna right-size the building, so they asked me, I can't remember, Rick, anyway, he's the one that's looking for a new building, and he wanted us to give it, direct, see if they wanted to include the veterans office with them where they find a building, or for Mr. Sosa to find their own building. I did say that to Mr. Sosa. We also had a free offering of a building, which is a transportation building from the city. All we have to do is put partitions and pay utilities, but it was free of charge. But this was way back in September of last year. So we do have a free building. I also talked to Commissioner Flores, who's in charge of leasing the buildings. He was gonna talk to
There's a building that's available over here by the old Memes restaurant. The old middle Rio Grande building across the street.
I was told by someone that that was in a flood zone.
No.
No.
Maybe in 98.
Sir?
The backside on that building flooded during the flood.
During the 98 flood, though.
It's about a year flood.
How much is that bill?
They're gonna, give me a price.
When do you need to be out?
No, is it,
August?
August the 31st is the last day. But
We still got time now.
But let me get it straight. The Middle Rio Grande did not say, you go find your own. They said, if you want us to find include the Veterans Office with our building they're gonna lease, we're gonna look for one. Give us a directive. Do you want us to include that or not? And so, I'm asking the court, do you want me to tell them to include the Veterans Office, or what you guys want me to do?
Well, I mean, I think you got together with Commissioner Flores, y'all come up with the plan and
It
bring it back to
depends
us.
on the price.
I think we should move it a
can
little
find-
quicker with this. We don't want to wait until the last minute and then be shortfall.
His name was Ricky McNeil, I just remember his name.
Last I knew is they're trying to find a building.
I don't have a
They're
problem.
having a hard time for the specific space they're looking for, and they haven't located.
No, and
What are they paying rent?
Sir?
What is Middle Rio Grande paying rent?
I don't know, sir. All I know is that they were outbidded by mental health. Mental health.
I know what they're paying rent, we
moving
bill them,
to
bill
the
them.
workforce.
Lease it to them.
That's a good, but see, I would much rather get together with Commissioner Flores and we can come up with something.
But if
for
that building is suitable, sir, and it's according
It
to
is,
the
I mean-
living standards, that would be a great building. Plus, we're closer to the
Pay
county.
for it.
We'll have some information this afternoon as to
Pay for it.
the square footage and the price on it.
I wouldn't mind it. I've seen it.
You'll
I
get
went
one.
over there,
Yeah.
but I was informed that.
All I need is the directive from the commissioners.
So, if you can get with Middle Rio Grande, find out what their needs are and what they're willing to pay in rent, and we can look at, if the numbers work out, we build a facility to put them all in and we lease it to them.
Okay? I'll work with Commissioner Flores and come up with, recommend, thank you.
But on this, I would like to wait until we look at a couple other options. This is a pretty high rent right here, $2,024.
That's including utilities. One of it is $1,700, the one across the post office.
Did you make the motion?
Web utilities would be...
I didn't make it into a motion, I just asked the judge and y'all to get with...
That's including utilities, by the way.
Okay.
I had to include
You're gonna
everything.
put that in form of motion or just?
I'll make a motion to authorize the judge and Commissioner Flores to meet with the Middle Rio Grande, find out what their needs are in a facility and what they're willing to pay in rent, so we can look at the possibility of building a facility.
Second.
Leasing it to them.
Thank you. Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody? Thank you. All right, next we have item 29, monthly treasury report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, right?
Good morning.
Any questions?
You made the auditor rich.
We received an ACH deposit on the 31st, so had to make the...
When does our payment go out on that, Frank? To August 15th?
And we've already made a 534 interest payment, so that we'll put back. Right? Okay. Motion approved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Go ahead.
How are we doing on these numbers, Frank? We're in June now.
We're doing okay.
I don't like okay.
The one that scared me is the marshals, right? I mean, but you know, we don't, if they don't come in, we don't make a payment anyway, but when you look at your overall number and look at your percentages, it scares you a little bit.
Yeah, it's 3.5%. But
Mhm.
that's a difficult number to budget because of the variance of prisoners on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do on budget amendments? Are you gonna,
I'm gonna present some today.
The other one in there, was to take out for our salaries, like $1 odd million. I mean, also that one, when you look at your revenue, it's hurting us because we're gonna do it like this, no, we're not gonna do it like this, but that number's still in there, so when you look at your percentages, it's like we should have it in there, but we're not gonna do that.
So I put the budget amendment for moving those.
If you look at it.
Yeah, I'll double
Okay.
check.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Nobody? It's 3-0. Mr. Flores is gone. All right. On item 30, actually, it's no action, just requesting the Valverde County fourth quarter contribution in the amount of $101,000.
it's an automatic payment,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, motion approved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Okay.
Aye. All those opposed? 3-0.
Judge, he wants to make sure you sign.
Oh, okay.
He did, he signed everything. We're good. The judge is good, he took care of it.
Okay. All right, next, let's go to item 31. Review and take possible action on approving CFS policy change request forms for 2 separate departments.
Which 2 departments?
County Library and the 83rd District Court.
The 83rd, I'm reading that, it's like to go to the other sites, right?
Yes, sir, Judge Cadena, for his research. As always, I
And
need
the
the court's
librarian?
final approval. I'm sorry?
And the librarian?
Library has, for Mrs. Monday, has Category 49, which is software downloads that she needs to do her daily duties, and Mrs. Salceda, which is shopping.
She's shopping?
Shopping. She needs to make purchases for the library. Mrs. Salceda is now Mrs. Monday's admin assistant.
And you said download too, right? The downloads.
Downloads was Mrs. Monday.
Okay, but are we having issues? I mean, I know we've been having issues with our stuff. Are they they're in the same network?
They're not on the same network, but they follow the same policy.
No, my question is, are they in the same network? So they're them downloading stuff. If something happens, we're still separated a little.
We're still separated.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion, a second. Okay. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, 3-0. Next, item 32, present for the court's review, reports on Pewick, an official county website, no action necessary, informational purposes.
That's correct. This is more of informational purposes. The way this report came around is our county attorney was nice enough to take some time to help me tweak and look at our underutilization in some areas of our website. In 2004, we trained 12 individuals from various departments on how to use your pages, how to update your pages. A lot of modules in our websites are really low as far as utilization because they're not being updated. I train the department heads, I train the staff, and all I can do is encourage them to use it, but I can't force them to use it. Our highest hit pages are obviously our index pages and home pages. Our third highest hit page is the employment information page, followed by several pages from the county clerk's office. County clerk's office does a great job of updating her page frequently, from elections to forms, as well as the district clerk's pages, followed by the sheriff. Most recently, I worked with our HR director and retrained the new staff member that she has, and they're now actively posting the positions. So again, it's more of an informational, it's a first of its kind report. It's new to all of us, and the first time I present it.
It's a good report.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, next, item 33, consider possible accept donation from Ms. Lucas Amico in form of miscellaneous IT equipment.
I presented this to the Grant Review Committee, and they have some questions for me that at the time didn't have answers to. I've researched the material that this person has donated, and it was actually donated from Laughlin Air Force Base at the same time that the Sheriff's Office picked up all those Eaton UPSs and batteries. Laughlin gave this product directly to Mr. DeMarchio, who in turn is donating it to the county.
Make a motion to approve and accept the donation.
There's a motion and a second. Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? One vote.
I vote for it.
You vote for it?
Okay, if you don't mind.
4-0.
Thank you.
Next, we have a county HR directors.
I'll make a motion to approve all and take out 41 for separate discussion. Why do we have so many on here, Wayne? Everybody just leave, or?
Sheriff had a lot of changes in his department in the last couple of months.
You took out 41?
Yes.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to accept all of them except 41. Any discussion? And all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Nobody?
No, we can deal with 41.
Okay, now we want to do 41. Go ahead.
You're requesting an increase in salary and a new job description
Yes, sir.
from 25,937.50 to 30,000. What is it in our budget that we're proposing now with that salary increase we were looking at?
That's what I'm figuring.
I think it's 27.
It would go like to 27,900.
28,900.
I got 27.
She's thinking 25, when it's 27 to 10,
It was 25,937.5 times 1% equals plus 1,737.50 would be $27,934.38.
What's the current budget? What was the person making it left? What's in the budget now?
25,937.
25,937.
No, it should have been higher than that.
What?
No,
That's the starting pay for that position.
and that's what it's at.
No, but that wasn't what Claire was making.
25 was the base.
25 was the base pay. Oh, so that 25,973 included what she was currently making when she left?
Yeah. And with the raises, she'd go to 27,934.
I mean, I know these positions are hard to fill. What job description? What are you
I
changing?
did provide the job description to the judge. At the time that Claire was hired, it was set up as HR director assistant, and that is not really the role of this person. This person deals a lot more with benefits, processing employees. This person does not do terminations or make any HR decisions. And with the new law that's coming up on the exempt and non-exempt situation, I believe that she should be considered as a non-exempt employee. I have modified the job description. Plus, we are probably looking at taking on most of the timekeeping as part of the payroll changes.
Yeah, but that's...
I'm okay with the, go ahead.
No, go on, I'm sorry.
I'm okay with the job title deal, and I'm probably okay with the salary, but I'm thinking more like, let's wait a few months till the next budget and do it.
And that is not a problem.
Change the salary in the budget maybe to move it to the 30, to see if this person's even going to work out for a few months.
Okay.
I'm more inclined to do that than I am to do it right today. I'll make a motion to approve the new job description and to do the current salary at the 25,937.50 and to look at moving that position to 30,000 in the new budget.
Okay, there's a motion. Anybody want to second
Well,
that?
I think we need to look at it in the new budget. I just don't think that, I mean, you made your motion.
Well, my motion is to look at it, not to approve it.
And I don't have a problem with that. I just
But
thought
to
we needed
accept,
to present
to
that.
accept the new job description. Now,
Okay.
Do y'all have a copy of the job description?
She does for that one.
yes, there's one here. I'm assuming this is it. What is it?
Change my job description to it.
What is it? This is it?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Or does it have the old ones anymore?
So I don't have the old.
Why don't we just table it and bring it back at another meeting?
We still got to table it.
Well, yeah, well, I mean,
All I'm proposing is
it's
to
already
pay her
been
what's recommend, well, it's not until this court approves it. I'm
Yeah, you-
recommending we pay her what the current salary is and
25,900.
and then look at the 30 in the next budget cycle, then approve the new job description.
In the new cycle, or now?
Now, the job description.
Okay.
Okay, there's a
The
motion.
difference
I need a
does it make
second for that.
Because you don't know what the old one says.
We
You
still
know
got
what
to pay
the
her,
changes-
so.
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable just with motion just to pay her what she, the 25.
I'll second it for discussion. Judge,
Okay.
25,937.50, I think it's a fair salary for that position at this point.
And that's what the motion is, to pay her
And then
that.
we can work on the base pay down the road.
That's what the motion is, so the motion is just to pay her that right now and look at it on the new budget.
But we're not giving any increase right now
No.
or anything. I mean,
No.
just what she's got coming as a raise.
Right. Okay. Okay, any other questions? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I oppose.
One
So are we talking about the job description or not?
No, just to pay her this.
Okay.
My motion, let me repeat the motion,
pay her
was to pay her the $25,937.50 to approve the new job description and to look at the $30,000 in the next budget. That was the motion.
Mhm. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that finished?
What you got?
All right, now let's go to item number 16. 60. Monthly auditor's report.
So move.
That was in the packet.
Yeah. There's a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody. 4-0. Item 61, discuss possible action on 2015-2016 budget amendments.
I had several departments that have contacted my office regarding budget amendments. The first one is the purchasing department. Their request is kind of unique. The HR department utilized their copier to update their personnel manuals and things like that, and they have agreed to allow $215.74 to be taken out of their office supplies to be put into the purchasing department's copier expense, because the purchasing department pays by copy.
Yep.
That's one. Then in the fire department, from the savings of $6,923 that was saved from the, his 3 assistants, he would like to transfer $1,500 into travel and training, and the remaining $5,423 into his office supply. That money is there, and it's within his budget. And then in the 83rd District Judge would like to transfer $2,000 from his jury fund to his office supply fund. He's not out of funds, but he foresees that he'll have difficulty making it to the end of the year. And he has money available. I believe that's all I have.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion.
I second.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody. 4-0. And the last one, discuss possible action approval of bills for PO issues.
I gave each member of the court a list of the buildings that had PO issues. The good thing is that there are fewer where the amounts are different from the actual PO. These that were put in there, some of them were mechanical, like a piece of equipment was taken to a mechanic for an estimated cost, and it may have come over that. So I don't really have an issue with any of these. And then there was a communication issue that caused some POs not to be.
I have a bunch of them on there that it says, no POs, or POs, no POs. I turned in a list to close them, and the purchasing department did such a good job, they closed them before.
Closed them for you.
Before we had a chance to submit bills, but they did an excellent job.
Motion to approve the list.
There's a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion?
You're used to the 30-day delay, or what?
They jumped on it and closed it.
Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody. 4-0. All right, item 63, discuss possible action renewal agreement with LexisNexis Legal Research Service.
This is a standard agreement that we sign for our research service, and the court's never required that we bring it before the court, and you didn't, but we're still wanting permission to enter into that agreement.
Motion to approve and authorize you to sign or the judge to sign?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
She signed it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Aye.
Aye, you'll sign it now.
You say.
All right, next,
That's
item
the cheap one.
64, discussion possible action regarding electioneering on the county courthouse square.
This past election, we had a question about where electioneering could be conducted. the court had previously passed an order that said no electioneering past the sidewalks or anything inside was, but that only applied to that one election, but the county clerk had meant for it to apply to all future elections. So I'd like the court to consider doing that.
To make anything within the bounds of the courthouse square
Sidewalk.
No election.
sidewalk, anything with, okay. Motion to approve no electioneering within the bounds of the courthouse and the sidewalk toward the courthouse.
Okay, there's a motion.
No?
Second.
Second.
Curb to curb.
Session.
Okay.
You amended it to curb to curb?
Curb to curb.
Second accepts.
Go ahead and say sidewalk.
Okay, all those in favor?
Foot.
All those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Nobody, 4-0. Next, item 65, request executive session for Government Code 551.071, parenthesis 1, parenthesis A, 551.071, parenthesis 2, and 551.072. Eagle Commissioners, back in session. And we're going to go back to
15.
Item 15. Discuss possible action regarding the Amistad Acre Road project. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes, I'll make a motion to terminate the project and the money owed to the state to be paid out of the contingency funds.
I need a second on that.
And I realize we don't have the funding to complete this project, but that's a lot of money. There's no way to complete this project.
No, I mean, there's a lot of money. I mean, there's a big gap from the money we have to the money that's needed to build the road. We're talking almost $500,000.
We had 700 and some odd thousand dollars left.
Yes, 733.
And our bids came back at 1.5.
1,700,000.
Yeah, but then we deducted the asphalt, because
Yeah.
you even went back and asked to deduct the asphalt, and we would drop down to 1.5.
$1,200,000.
Was it 1.2 million?
Yeah.
1.2.
Closer to right. It was closer to 1.5.
Yeah, it was like 1.5.
Yeah.
Or somewhere up there.
Yeah, because the asphalt, I think, only dropped a couple $100,000 only. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, I need a second before discussing it. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Second. Go ahead.
I just don't know what else we could do. I mean, we looked at, I think we even asked the state if they would allow us to go out for bids to figure out if what the engineer and the architect were looking at was correct. And the state had told us that we could not go out for bids. Is that right?
Yeah, they didn't allow us, we had to get a new set of road plans to be able to go out for bids, and that was gonna cost $56,000.
You have somebody in their hand.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is a grant. It is a grant. It is left, part of the money was left from the Colonial Paving inside Amistad Acres, like 300 and some thousand. The rest of it was a federal grant that Rodriguez got for building the bridge across the Box Canyon Road. And it just cost 300 some thousand to build it. It was for $1 million is what we had. That also was part of the money, and it was for this project. This was 7 years ago. There was enough money to pay to do that 7 years ago. We've been through 3 county judges, 2 commissioners, and it was not anything done. Also, we have been told things. The judge told us that there had been $300,000 spent from this. I contacted through the open records from Laredo, and I got back, and I don't have the exact figures with me, but it's about $145,000. This was in February that had been spent out of that. Then they say there's $188,000 spent. There hadn't been anything done, and so there's $40-some thousand more that they say. Also, the judge told us about the $1.7 million that it would cost, that they had the bid. It was the engineer company. They had the bid. It had never been bid. It had never been bid. Bid out. And so, you know, and it's when they built the project on the Box Canyon Road, that pavement, we did everything we could to help the county pursue that. We did everything we could, and I don't know if Anna agreed to that or not. Also, y'all have talked about taxes. They have this year, the appraisal office has lots out there, say a 50 by 100 lot, to $34,110 value. 7 Point has 5 acres. They were also valued at $34,110. If y'all would collect all that money, you'd have enough to pave the road without a grant. Well, that, you know, I feel like that we have really been done dirty. Also, the commissioner told me one time that he wasn't going to pave that road because there wasn't but 15 families living out there and 90 property owners. Do you know that those property owners that don't live out there, they pay more taxes than the ones that are homesteaded? And they use the road probably more than we do because some of them are out there nearly every weekend. And I try to limit my coming to town and doing what I need to do every, as less time that I can. I try to once a week, maybe twice a week. So, I feel like that we have really have been done wrong. And do y'all think that you're turning this money back from grant? What do you think is going to happen when you apply for another grant for something? I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Also, Mr. Forrest told me that he talked to the county auditor. The county auditor wanted to turn it back, and my answer was, it's not his money, and he does not have a vote. As I said, we have been told a lot of things that was not the facts. And there's not anything I can do, not anything anybody can do. We have depended on y'all, and I really feel that we have really not been done fairly.
All right, any more discussion?
I can tell you I'm having a difficult time with this because that's a lot of money to take out of our budget to send back. To send back to the state of Texas because it didn't get done. I wish there was some way in the world we could figure out how to accomplish this task. Because I do not like the idea of having to write a $188,000 check. that we can use for a lot of things. I mean, I understand where we're at, but I don't like the idea of having to write the check.
We have asked,
$188,000 check, or you come up with the money that it's gonna take to complete the project?
No, I mean, I understand where we're at, I just don't like the whole process. I mean, I understand that we're stuck in a situation where we either pay back the $188,000 or we come up with $500,000 or $600,000 to complete the project. I mean, I clearly understand where we're at, and it's just difficult to have to send money back.
I wish the state would have given us the opportunity to put what we have out for actual bid. And then we're not relying on the engineer's numbers to make a decision, but actually hard numbers that somebody would say, this is what I'll build a road for. You know, that's my only regret here. I mean, the $188,000, what you brought up a little while ago on the grants, what happens to us later on? I mean, all the commissioners have expressed interest in that. You know, if you do this, and it seems like we can't fulfill the contract or the agreement, how does this affect us later on? But at the end of the day, it's like Frank said, I mean, with the numbers that we were being presented, do we give back $188,000? And you know, your numbers were 145 or whatever. We were just told a little while ago that it was basically there had been $159,000 spent. The difference in that $188,000 between the 159 is actually what the state of Texas is what they've charged us to look at these plans. You know, the highway department.
TxDOT charges you to review the plans.
Yeah, so there's a charge there. Even our hard costs are, what we were told a little while ago was 159, but the difference is what the state is charging us. TxDOT, yes, ma'am. You know, again, it's real hard to write the $188,000 check. And if I think the court might consider, or I know I would, if I was going to write a $188,000 check to have nothing, or a $188,000 check and it actually finished the project, then the court would consider it, I would think. But we're not that close. The numbers that we're getting, the numbers that I looked at, we were 1.7, and then when the engineer was asked what would it take to remove the asphalt and just leave, not even a caliche road, but leave a crush-based road, that way it'd hold up more, we dropped to around 1.5 million. So if you take the $780,000 or whatever we have in change and take that away from the 1.5 million, you know, it's not $500,000. I mean, you're talking, yeah. I mean, and we asked the state. I mean, we're trying everything, and I know that it's not going to be the answer y'all want, but we're trying everything, and none of us want to do this, to give back the money. But we asked the state, could we actually, with the plans that we have, go out for a bid without the asphalt? That way we actually have a dollar amount that somebody said, this is what it's going to cost, versus an engineer saying, this is what it should cost. And the answer to that question was no. So, I mean, it's real hard. I mean, if your hands are tied and they're not allowing us to go do this, you know, I'd have felt, you know, at least a little bit more comfortable in coming back and saying, look, we've tried everything, but the state won't let us take that other step. So I think the only thing we have left is to make a decision. Do we go out here and spend, you know, $500,000, $600,000, whatever they're saying, and whatever numbers that we're getting now, or do we send back the $188,000? And none of us want to do that. But with the options that we have left, I just don't know what to do. I mean, I think we've all lost sleep over this, and you know, what do we do? I mean, do I write the check for $500,700,000, or do I write the check for $188,000? Either one of them, we're going to have to figure out a place to get it from. You know, I have $465,000 in my contingency. $85,000 of that is already set aside for a project, and I think there's like $30,000 already set aside for something. So I don't have enough money, not even in my contingency. If I was just to say we're going to use it all, we're just going to, you know, I mean, it's difficult, and I understand where y'all are coming from.
So what y'all are, y'all take our taxes, our property tax, and take the money for that, And then we, some way, will have to figure out how we can keep that road where we can even get out of there, you know. And I know, y'all can say, well, you knew that when you bought it
No,
in
ma'am, I wouldn't say that.
1972.
Mr. Flores would, that's what he said to my husband when he called him, you want it out there.
I mean, I can tell you that
And-
we have really, really struggled on this. I mean, you know,
And-
we're going back and forth, and as a commissioner, I mean, it's difficult. I mean, it's just one of those deals that how do I go out here and spend $700,000 out here? You know what I mean?
It's just too bad it wasn't started
Yes,
7
ma'am.
years ago. like
I
we
can agree to that.
And
And the answer to, y'all bought that property, you knew that the road was like that, correct. But what about progress? Also, the county maintained that road for years, and then it went to a trial with a jury deciding it was a private road. And that's not anything y'all can do about it, it's not anything we could do about that, but it's, and your Box Canyon Road, that paving of that Box Canyon Road has really, in fact, the Park Service has said that that's the second most used boat ramp out there at Box Canyon.
Let me say one thing.
It has been said for that. Anyway, I'm not, there's not any arguing about it, that's just the way it is. But I did want to bring out some facts about that.
Concerning this project, we moved in good faith. I mean, we tried different options. We talked back and forth with the state concerning a paved road and then just a caliche-based finished road with a low water crossing. Then we tried getting a hold of Mr. Allen, see if we could use the actual road that y'all are using right now and loop around those pans, and that would maybe make it a lot cheaper. Then the area that he was willing to donate concerning the big draw that's there, that was gonna cost quite a bit of money just to go across it. But the problem at the end of the day with all these options, it was the money. The money wasn't there.
It would have been enough.
All right, and my comment on this is, why wasn't it done 7 years ago? And I agree with you, but at this point, we've got our hands tied up. I don't think we can continue with the project. And, Kane?
Would there be any way to ask TxDOT again if they would allow us to go out for a bid and come up with a hard number?
I think we already did.
Is the issue that you need new specs? Is that what it is? Because the specs you have are for asphalt. And so if you're going to go out for bid, you're going to need specs.
They removed it.
I got a bid from John Rhodey with Diaz-Murray Engineering for $56,000 on a new plan, road plan, yes.
Which
So
I think
on
is-
top of the 188,
Which I think is a complete and utter rip-off, because all he's doing is taking the asphalt out of the bid. I mean, you're not really just redesigning, all you're doing is removing the asphalt, that's the extent of it. And I think that price is ridiculous to do it.
they don't just keep on bumping the costs, you know, that we're spending on this road and we're not getting anywhere. Because, like I said, I mean, the amount that we have and the money we need is quite a bit.
All right, any more discussion? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
I'll oppose.
What you vote on?
I just,
If the question was asked one more time and we get a complete no from them again, because I know Commissioner Flores has asked them on several occasions, but if we were to ask one more time and the answer is no, then I mean, I believe we've tried everything we can, but, you know, one more time to go see what the answer is, I don't think it's gonna hurt us. And, if we were to ask and it comes back and the answer is still no, we've gone beyond what we should have done.
We've asked several times, Mr. Owens.
No, I understand, I agree.
Ana Duncan, Melissa Montemayor, and he says, you gotta go through the process.
And
And the
I-
only way to go out for bids is if you come up with a new set of plans showing the road that you want to build.
And you know, one thing about it, you know, me and you usually get up here and we have pretty good little arguments, but you need to understand that I agree with what you're saying, that I think you've done, you've asked them, and I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is I wish that we could probably ask one more time if the plans that we had, if we could just remove the asphalt and try and get a price. I mean, you know, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and if you get the votes right now, you know, it is what it is. And in no way inform Commissioner Flores, am I throwing rocks at you for this project. I just want that understood.
Oh, I'm gonna vote against it and ask that you go back and ask them one more time and then.
Okay, so, motion dies.
We already voted, I mean, how
No,
can we?
2-2.
Two.
It was 2-2.
Okay. Well, the only way, so y'all can be sure that the question has been asked, I would prefer Commissioner Middleton or Commissioner Owens to make the call.
You know, Commissioner Flores, again, I need it perfectly clear that I'm not questioning whether or not you asked a question, because I firmly believe that you've done a lot to try to get this project completed. And I need that to be understood. I'm not questioning motive, I'm not questioning whether or not you've taken the action. All I'm asking for is that the question be asked one more time.
I'm not questioning what you've done either. I mean, I think you've done everything you know how to do, but I agree, doesn't hurt to ask.
I will
We
make
can
the call
ask,
right now
you know,
and get
or
it
somebody
to
just-
an email, the answer, and that way, I can just send y'all with a copy of the answer given to me by text out.
Okay, so the motion didn't pass, 2-2 tie. Okay, now let's go to item 67, certificates of compliance and certificates of concern.
No.
None? Okay. Item 68, approving monthly reports from elected officials.
Move.
Move to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? 4-0. Next, we have item 69, approving bills for payment.
There was one in here, Judge, real quick. I didn't see the bleachers for Texas federal surplus. There was a bill submitted, but I didn't see it. And then the bill for Mueller on the roof that was billed on the 31st of May, I didn't see it. If you could add that, I think one of them was like for $32,000, another one was for $425,000. Those could be added. They're just not in here. I didn't see them.
Yeah, if they're not there, it's because we didn't receive them.
Well,
Do you know the amount, or?
one of them was for,
Mueller was 32,000. You signed those invoices?
yes, sir. I signed it. I just, because it was so late, I just didn't want them to get paid, and it might have been our fault. We might not have got it, but if you could just add the Mueller bill, it was for $32,000 and something. It was for the metal for the show barn and the precinct 2. And then there were some bleachers that we purchased from the Texas federal surplus. I'm gonna say it was for $450. I think there was 9 bleachers at $50 a piece.
I remember
And if you don't have it, I'll make
discussion
sure
on
that, sir?
I remember the discussion on the
Yes, sir.
bleachers last Commissioner's Court
Mhm.
meeting. And the other one was what? I got Mueller?
Mueller, just 2.
Just the 2?
Mhm.
Okay. And I've got, I received a letter from the City of Del Rio Nutrition Program, and they're requesting an annual payment of $2,087. I went back, had the staff go back to the resolution that was passed in October of 2014, where the court approved $2,000 for Texans feeding Texans, and the order 14-380, Commissioner Middleton made a motion to approve a resolution regarding the City of Del Rio, Texas Department of Agriculture grant for Texans feeding Texans for a $2,000 contribution from the general fund. That was for, my interpretation, it was for a one-time deal. And this letter says it's our annual request for this $2,087.
They used to come to us every year with it. They used to bring it to us every year, and we would approve that year's deal.
That was my understanding.
Can we just put it on for July?
I mean, we don't, they used to come to us every year
Mhm.
and request us to do it, and we would do the
I just
resolution
wanted to
and
make
approve
sure
the
I was
grant.
interpreting the order correctly, and y'all didn't intend to
No,
do
I
it.
don't think that was the intention, it was for that year. So they need to come back before the court and request it.
Yeah, and with the documentation, I think last time they presented with a package
Yeah.
of what it was for and everything,
Mhm.
other than just a bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would need the package.
Okay.
Just hold it.
We'll contact them and tell them that they need to make a presentation to court. And then I have, for transportation for autopsies, for G.W. Cox for $250. From Trinity Mortuary, transportation of an individual to and from Webb County for $500. Transportation of another individual to and from Webb County for $500. Transportation of another individual to and from Webb County for $1,000. And transportation for another individual to and from Webb County for another $500. So that's $2,500.
But we just had the conversation that we transport them over there.
Mhm.
We're not obligated by statute to
Sure.
pay for that individual to come back if they have somebody, I mean, for lack of a better word, claiming that individual, right?
That's correct.
So how do
And,
we pay the $500 over there and back?
It would be curious as to why they went to pick the body up, how they knew it was ready to be transported.
So I guess but we have $500 bills. We can't pay them the $500 because if you do the math, it seems like they pay you $250 to go and $250 to come,
Mhm.
right? So we can't authorize the other $250.
Mhm.
Is that right? I mean, and you have, how many that came and went?
All of them came and went.
But there's 4?
Yes. One of them was $1,000 because of the specialized equipment that was needed.
Okay. So, I mean, it seemed like you'd pay them half of whatever they're asking for because we should have only paid for one trip. The going, not the coming.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
Well, the only thing I would wonder is the itemization, for example, the body bag. That's just one cost. Are they itemizing it, or?
No, this is just transportation to
transportation.
and
Oh,
from.
okay. That makes sense.
Right? So, I mean, if, in reality, you pay for whatever they're billing us right there, half of it. You wouldn't pay for the other part because we're not obligated to pay for going and picking them up. I would think, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I agree with your.
Make a motion.
Make a motion to pay just half.
There's a motion.
Oh, did he make a motion? I'll
Yeah.
second it then.
Second.
I forgot Bo makes motions.
I could quit.
Oh, no, it's good. It's your way.
Okay, there's a motion.
I have 4 others.
Oh, come on, Frank. What do we
Can
got?
they deal with the transport too, Frank?
What's deal
No, this is the detail of those 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this, that's what I have.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Nobody? 4-0.
That's all I have.
Okay. Now, we also need a motion to pay the rest.
Motion to approve, pay the rest of the bills, and to add in the 2 that Commissioner Owens, the Mueller and what was the other
The
one?
Mueller is,
Texas Federal Surplus.
Okay, okay, there's a motion.
yeah.
Second. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nobody, 4-0. All right, any elected officials' comments?
We have, at the show barns, we started expanded metal, so we don't get birds and pigeons all up inside there. And then we've actually started battered woman shelter also, the slab, and we've already started the framing. And just go back to Amistad Acres deal. I mean, y'all need to understand that all of us sitting up here, it's really hard, it's difficult for us to make this decision. It isn't something that we're taking lightly, none of us. Commissioner Ramon's not here, but, you know, from Commissioner Ramon all the way down the table to Commissioner Flores, I mean, this isn't something that we take lightly. We're trying to figure it out. Okay, and I just need y'all to understand that.
Okay, any other comment?
Item 20 was tabled, needs to come back.
feedback. To no decision.
What'd you do?
Need some information.
Yeah, we need some information down.
The bid award. I contacted Dewberry, the architect firm, and they were not able to locate the budget. So I called the administrator of the project, and he was not able to provide any information either. So I would recommend we table this until we get that information from the two companies that are running the project.
I'd have much rather you not even brought it back.
Well, I just need to let you know, I mean.
Like, Jesus, we can't find numbers.
All right,
Well, it's already tabled, so we'll just leave it tabled.
okay. All right, any other comments? No?
There was an original motion to
Okay.
table.
Yeah. All right, if not, means adjourned.
We just didn't say what you did.
Why did you